registered dietitian nutritionist turned holistic health coach, and I'm the founder of Health in the City. Health in the City is a holistic, full spectrum practice helping people get to their best, most optimal selves, whether it's physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually, occupationally, intellectually, environmentally, financially. It doesn't matter what part of your 8 dimensions of wellness are the most important to you or the ones that you feel like you have the most room for improvement in. We will get to the source of why there is dis-ease or any sort of illness or discomfort in your life, and we will heal the source rather than just putting a band-aid on it and basically just giving you a temporary fix for something that can have a long-term effect in your life. So stay tuned. We're going to go over all 8 dimensions of wellness, and we're going to kind of start getting your wheels turning on what you feel like can be an area in your life that maybe there's some room for improvement or that you've been wanting to work on for some time now and haven't really had the tools to do so. One of the first and most common dimensions of wellness that is addressed in general and in my practice is physical wellness. Physical wellness can be anything from your physical activity to your sleep to how often you go into the outdoors and go for a walk or something like that. So physical wellness is very, very important. However, it is not an end-all be-all. There are a lot of other aspects of wellness that are important to your overall health that you also do not want to neglect. So I would say usually towards the beginning, people address their physical wellness, and then it starts trickling into a few other dimensions as well. I hope that's helpful. I want you to kind of take this time and think about physically, are you where you want to be? And if so, wonderful. If not, what are some things that you can do to improve your physical wellness? One of the dimensions of wellness that I find to be one of the most important and sometimes neglected dimensions is emotional wellness. And it's not necessarily psychological wellness in itself, but emotional wellness covers a lot of things. It could be your trust, your confidence, your ability to express your feelings, identifying your feelings, and then expressing your feelings, and being able to communicate those appropriately with those around you. Your self-esteem, your self-image, your optimism, all of those things can really trickle into other parts of your dimensions, your lifestyle, or your relationships with others, and it can actually cause long-term physical illness or dis-ease, and that's something that is really not looked upon many times, especially in a clinical setting or a healthcare setting. So I want you to think about emotionally, are you open? Are you vulnerable? Are you trusting of others? Do you have comfortable and close relationships? And are you able to sustain those relationships through feeling and actually expressing your feelings? Getting on to another dimension of your wellness, social wellness is so important in just bringing joy into your life and kind of support where you need it. One of the most important things that I would ask patients who would come in for weight loss surgery prior to them having surgery is, who is your support system? And what does your support system look like? Are they truly supporting you, or are they kind of trying to sabotage your wellness and your progress and your health? A lot of times your social circles are maybe not the healthiest social circles for you. Sometimes your social circles are happy hour, drinking, post-work kind of groups where everyone's encouraged everyone to black out and get, really drunk, or, let's eat these fries and buffalo wings and pizza, or, let's go on lunch and get a bunch of greasy Chinese food and feel exhausted for the rest of the day. So think about who it is you're socializing, what kind of environments do you find yourself in, and is that really what's best for your health, or is that just what you're used to? A lot of times, our social circles or our support system is our family, and they give us a sense of belonging, which is wonderful. We do want a sense of belonging. However, we don't want to feel like if they're engaging in behaviors that are not healthy or could be toxic for us, that we must join them. We always want to be able to have a social circle that is healthy and that is free and that actually lets you be your authentic, healthy, well self. So, another dimension of wellness, which tends to be quite a sensitive topic for some, or a trigger word for some, is your spiritual wellness. And I think sometimes people misunderstand it because spirituality does not necessarily equal religion or necessarily a belief in a specific God or higher power, but really it's just a belief system. And it is really important to have some sort of belief system and to be connected to what's bigger than us, such as nature, you know, connecting with the things that we haven't created, the things that maybe something bigger than us has created, the things that seem like miracles. And, you know, I know that a lot of people are math or science oriented, and that's totally okay. But being able to believe that beyond that, there are things that can occur that are out of our hands, and sometimes really beautiful things that can occur that are out of our hands. And that actually gives people almost like an anchor to hold on to. So when the tide gets too crazy or you're feeling very out of control, you have this anchor in the ground of there's something bigger than me, there's something stronger than me that can actually pull me up when I'm down or pull me up when I feel like I can't do it. And that's kind of the whole purpose of having some spiritual connection. Let's talk about occupational wellness. This is kind of a tough one because most people say, I can't be happy at work all the time, but I need this paycheck, or I have bills to pay, or, you know, what am I going to do without a job? And it's not about being happy at work every day. It's about what is your satisfaction with what you do for most of your day. So a lot of people are not satisfied with their occupation or at least with their workplace. And sometimes it is an option to make adjustments. Sometimes there are no options to make those adjustments. And so, how are you going to actually tackle that and bring satisfaction into your life without quitting your job and telling everyone to go get lost? Sometimes we fantasize about that. We're in really tense or uncomfortable workplace, but in the real world, we do need to pay our bills. And how are we going to find an outlet to balance out, you know, that day in and day out, the grind, the 9 to 5 that is very exhausting for most of us? So you can create a really great space at work that can bring some peace. You know, put a plant, like a real plant on your desk, or maybe some essential oils. Go outside every hour and get some sunlight, or consider even doing some volunteer work. Consider getting some coworkers together and saying, hey, do you guys want to take a class together? And maybe, you know, go to like a yoga class after work, or ask your HR even, can they get you involved in some sort of, you know, corporate wellness program? So there's so many different ways to increase your morale at work. And if you're not able to, and that's just the situation that you're in, you could do volunteer work on the weekends that actually fulfills you, that makes you happy, that gives you a sense of purpose. The next dimension of wellness that I want to discuss is intellectual wellness. Intellectual wellness is one of my favorites because it's kind of like the icing on top. It's something you can live without, but once you find the thing that really brightens up your day or gets you to that next level, it can really make a life change. And intellectual wellness is basically, how do you stimulate yourself? So a lot of us are stuck in, you know, a 9 to 5 or We, actually kind of enjoy our jobs. We feel like we're doing the same thing over and over again. Or a lot of us could be stay-at-home moms where we're engaging in baby talk or driving carpool and doing homework and singing kids songs and trying to get the house in order and cooking dinner. And you kind of lose parts of yourself. Even if you're doing something really great, you lose parts of yourself in the process of that. So I always encourage, especially for like my clients that are parents who really feel like they're living for their children, do you intellectually stimulate yourself? How do you get your mind going? Are you a forever learner? Do you take little classes? Do you read? Do you have a creative side that you haven't yet kind of discovered or haven't really got into discovering? You could take a pottery class or a painting class. If you can't leave your house, you can, do breath work or take a little seminar that could teach you a little thing or two about yourself or about the world. So there's so many different things. You can take a piano class. I took a piano class this year because I was feeling like I hadn't exercised that part of my brain in many, many years. And it was really challenging, but it made me feel alive. And I think that's one of the most important things is sometimes we're on autopilot and we don't feel alive. We just feel like we're living on autopilot. So what is something that maybe you've been thinking about doing that you think maybe you can actually take that first step towards? Talking about environmental wellness, that's kind of a big one, and it's been coming up more recently. And I think it's something that maybe some people are aware of, that your environment really has a very big impact on your wellness. And some people are just like, this is where I live, or this is what life is like, and I really can't control that. But there are little things we can do in our environment to help improve our health or our wellness. First of all, you want to feel like you live in a safe environment, or at least you have a safe space in the environment that you're living in. If there's a lot of noise, or there's a lot of chaos, or there's a lot of mess, and that creates a lot of dysfunction for many, you want to create a space that's peaceful, even if it's the corner of your room. It doesn't really have to be a large space. But first off, make sure you have a safe space in your home. Make sure that you create a beautiful space for yourself where you're sleeping. So you want to make sure you have clean sheets and you don't have a bunch of chemicals everywhere, and maybe creating a cleaner space for yourself. So taking your shoes off when you enter the door so you're not dragging a bunch of environmental toxins. Many times living in a big city, it's very difficult to keep your health balanced. There's a lot of noise pollution and regular pollution, and there's a lot of stuff that could get dragged in through the windows or the doors, and there's a lot of chaos and a lot of traffic and a lot of things that could make you feel really shaky or unsafe or uncomfortable in your environment. So when you come home, you need to decompress and you need to have a space to do that. Last but not least, I want to talk about financial wellness. Financial wellness is a tough one. It's kind of like your occupational wellness. Your financial wellness is, really your relationship with money and finances. How do you conduct your life? And do you conduct it in a way where it's peaceful and calm, or chaotic and stressful? So it's really important. This is something I had to work on for many, many years. It's important to have a healthy relationship with money. And it doesn't mean that you're overspending or underspending. It means that you have to understand how much you have, what you plan to have, and kind of build around that and what kind of lifestyle you want to live. So I really, really encourage everyone, especially if it's very sensitive topic for you, or a topic that you don't want to deal with, which was me. I didn't want to deal with finances for many, many years. I didn't want to look at my bills. And I feel like it was something that I was avoiding. And I really had an unhealthy relationship with money because I didn't want to take responsibility for that. And sometimes it can be very challenging and tough. But living a life of the unknown and not having a financial plan can actually create a lot more stress in your life. My name is Shireen. I'm an integrative registered dietitian, nutritionist, and holistic health coach, and a founder of Health in the City. I hope that this information has been helpful, and I hope that maybe this is what you needed to start taking those steps toward living your best, most optimal life.